So in this lesson, we'll be going over sampling steps. And the easiest way to think about sampling steps is think about it as the amount of time and effort Stable Diffusion will put into generating your final image. So up to now, we've been using sampling steps of 20. But now let's see what happens when we take that to a really low value like 1. So I'm just going to go over to the sampling steps parameter and drag that down to 1. And I'm also going to paste in a seed to generate an image that I want. And now I'm going to click generate. And straight away, you should be able to notice that it looks like Stable Diffusion really hasn't generated anything. If anything, it looks like a random mix of colors on a page. It's really hard to discern what's going on. Now, look what happens when I increase the sampling steps. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it to 5 and now click generate. Now straight away, I can see that the image is of much higher quality than before. So I can make out some cherry blossoms within the actual image. I can see people on the ground here. And overall, it looks like a much more better picture. So now I'm going to take the sampling steps even higher this time. So I'm going to take it to 10. And now the image looks even more better. I can sort of make out pavement over here for the people to walk on. I can make out a street lamp over here. And the cherry blossoms look much more detailed. And now once again, I'm going to increase the sampling steps even further. So I'm going to go to 20. And then click generate. And now the image looks that much more refined. So I can make out the pavement much more clearer. I can now see perhaps houses on the side over here. And this shows that by increasing the sampling steps, you can get Stable Diffusion to spend more time on your image and therefore get a better quality image. Now, the first question that may come up to you is that if sampling steps lead to a higher quality of image, why don't we just take it all the way to 150? Now, there are two reasons we don't do this. And the first one is that it takes a much longer time to generate. And so if I go generate this image right now, and now even though I fast forwarded this part for you, I can tell you that from my side, it did take a much longer amount of time to generate. That's the first reason. The second reason is that you may have noticed that the image itself, even though we set it to the highest sampling steps, the image itself didn't change that much from when it was at 20. And this is something that we call diminishing returns. And what I mean by this is that if we set it to sampling steps 5, and then generate, and now if I add on 10 to get sampling steps 15, there is a big jump of image quality. Whereas if I set it to something like 90 and then generate, and then doing what I did last time, add on an extra 10, you can clearly see that the jump from 5 to 15 was much greater in terms of image quality than it was when we did 91 to 101. And so this is why you see many people in the community won't even bother using these higher sampling steps. They typically use within the range of 20 to 50 to get the images that they want. Because after this, it becomes a lot of extra effort for not a lot of increase in quality. And just one extra thing I want to mention in regards to the previous lesson about seeds. I mentioned that seeds are sort of the starting points for your images. And a good way to demonstrate this, if I take this to sampling steps 1, so I'm telling Stable Diffusion to not spend a lot of time generating this image, we get a random mix of colors. And what I meant by starting point of your image is this is what Stable Diffusion starts off with the image, and slowly but surely it refines it to get to the final product. So think of it like a clay sculptor who takes a big block of clay and slowly but surely, using his or her hands, the clay is refined to make a final product such as a bowl or a jug. And so this is very similar to how Stable Diffusion works. It's not like how a typical artist would start off with a blank piece of paper and slowly add color. And so no matter what seed you choose, Stable Diffusion will always start off with this weird mix of colors. And so that's just something I wanted to highlight upon to further clarify your understanding of seeds.